All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol Nndm, Nano Dimensions. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And let's jump into this chart. So Nndm stock has actually had a run today. So this actually recovered back from jumping from that support, breaking through the 50-day moving average, and breaking through the resistance level. That was really important for this to pull further away from the 50-day moving average. But it actually had a slight dip, but momentum is building back up towards these after hours. So we want to watch this closely on how this is going to react tomorrow. But that is a good recovery here due to the fact that if it broke through that $6 mark, we were going to see newer lows. And it was kind of in a point of why going down in that direction, right? That was the question that a lot of investors were probably having. And even as an investor myself, it's like, why is it going that way? The offering's over. This should be good news. So then I started analyzing the market overall, and it wasn't just Nano Dimensions. A lot of stocks were feeling that direction, right, since the 9th due to some uncertainty. But Monday, I guess a lot of investors looked at the price where it was at and said, this is a discount, we need to jump in, and took advantage of those prices. So they brought this back up through the 50-day moving average and the resistance. So we're going to have to see if the bulls can hold this up and continue the momentum. So there's some very important points here that we want to watch. And also, before I move the resistance, you could see here where the resistance was being tested at one point in the day. And that point right there almost made this level off and not go any further. But the bulls didn't give up. They reappeared and they continued to load up on stocks. So let's look at our new resistance and our new support based off the last couple hours of the day. And then also we want to pay close attention to where we're at in the 50-day moving average. So the lowest point down here, which is still very important, is $6. I know it's 601. I round it down to $6. That was almost touched and could have been broken through if the bulls did not appear, right? So we broke through one of the resistance levels. That's very important. We broke through a second one and fell back down below it, but we're going to see the new one, which is pretty important. But the next highest point up here before the fall was 715. That's a very important resistance level coming up as this continues to pull. I like to see and hear from your guys' end, or actually read in the comments. I can't hear when you guys are writing, right? I would like to see you guys write down below in the comments that if you think that 715 is going to be broken through, or that's going to be a resistance that's going to be a little bit difficult. What are your guys' outlook? How do you guys feel about this? How excited are you of the fact that this ran? And where do you see this going? I mean, a lot of people keep saying $8, $10. I would love to see your guys' insight. And before we get to $8 to $10, this needs to break through 715 and what your guys' thoughts are on that. So here we are with 672 being the current price, and the 50-day moving average is 642. Very important number to keep in mind. 642 is our 50-day moving average. As long as we're above it, we're in bullish territory. The moment we're below it, we're in bearish territory. So I want every single investor to be aware of that. So the bulls need to break the resistance, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, to maintain this momentum. So before we talk about resistance, support is 661, right? If 661 is broken through, you have a small window between support and the 50-day moving average, which is almost like a 20-cent difference, for you to pay close attention to how quickly this is moving downwards, or are the bulls trying to reappear. That's going to be a very important and vital moment in between that area. If this breaks through the 50-day moving average, we do have a support here to look at, which is pretty close to the 50-day moving average, and it's 628. That's one of the points where this leveled off that I talked about, where the bears appeared and the resistance was tested up here at that point before it continued to run. So 628 is an important low here to pay close attention to. So you have about 3 lines here that you can draw. You can draw the 50-day moving average, the support, which is 661, and 628, to have points of reference to see how this is acting and where this is going in those areas. So if it was to break support, you can see how it's behaving before it hits the 50-day moving average. If it breaks through the 50-day moving average and support, you can see how this is reacting towards 628, or if it's bouncing back up, or if it breaks through it. If it breaks through it, it could be on its way to newer lows, but there's always that opportunity for the bulls to reappear. But you want to watch the behavior of the stock closely within these areas because they're pretty vital and close to each other. Now, the most important point in the whole entire chart right now for this momentum to continue is breaking through the resistance. This resistance needs to be turned into a support, and the bulls need to pull away from it and pull away from the 50-day moving average to stay in bullish territory, continue this momentum. And if we draw the lines here where they've kind of like leveled off and where they started, and if they break through resistance and go on to newer highs, you could see it starts that formation of a staircase effect to continue that upward movement. So far they've created one of the staircases. If you don't want to draw these lines, you can just go ahead and look at it from this perspective. We started down here, we've leveled off here. If it levels off on the resistance, it could continue in that direction, in the upward direction as we see. So resistance is super important to be broken through, and I want to emphasize that the bulls need to pull away from 694 by turning it into a support and work further away from the 50-day moving average. Now back to that question again. The next point would be 715. So I want to see everyone's opinions and thoughts on that. That's the lowest point before this fall and started to break through the 50-day moving average after that recent offering, and that's where it all started to fall on the 9th, leaning towards Friday, and here we are with this rebound. So if 694 is broken through, do you guys think this is going to reach 715? I look forward to seeing your guys' comments and thoughts down below. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money. At the end of this video, there's going to be a pop-up video, and in that video, I will be discussing about the S&P 500 index and how it's been rising several points on scheduled dates. As you see here on the graph, these circles are the dates that the pumps have happened, and I use them as examples to show you guys how much the stocks have risen, and the S&P 500 index rose on those dates. And the reason why it's rising is due to the fact that the Federal Reserve is pumping the markets. On these dates, the charts and the dates speak for themselves, as we can see it here, and I break it down into more detail in the video. But just to summarize it, on these dates, the S&P 500 rises, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with it, anywhere from 30 cents to $3 per share. I know it may not seem like a lot, but per share that does add up, and these individual ticker symbols are giving you back profits. These are profits, and like I always say, profits are profits. Whether it's $1 put into the market and you get back $2, you've put in an initial investment and you got back more than what you started with. That's what it's all about. And also in the video, I go into further detail showing you guys these dates and showing you how much it rose. Like for example, this was one of the last pump dates, and the lowest point that it reached was down here at 35.11, and the highest point reached was 35.57. That's like a 40-point jump. And here we're seeing the same thing. It went down to 35.88, and it rose up to about, I'd say, let's see, this is all still in the same day. It rose up to about a total amount of 36.23. When you do the math, that's almost a 40 to 50 point jump, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with this. Now, I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm just here to inform every single investor on the great news, on the opportunity to maximize profits and minimize losses. You have to do your due diligence and research, but these charts and the dates speak for themselves. I mean, this was probably one of the largest jumps that I've seen in the last couple of pumps, and it was down here at 33.02, and it rose up to about 33.88. That was an 80-point jump. There was probably ticker symbols rising up more than $3 per share on those dates. And even on these dates, there's individual ticker symbols rising more than $3 per share. Check it out. See for yourselves. And my best advice is look for ticker symbols that may be resembling the behavior of the S&P 500 index, and you'll be able to go ahead and give it a shot. Check it out. Again, I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm just here to go ahead and share the information along with every single viewer and investor. The video should be popping up soon. If you haven't seen it already, pop up. There is the link down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.